Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. Welcome to an extra spiffy edition of the Uplift. We've got a great show for you today, including this. A mom who is using art to inspire thousands of people to focus on their mental health. And we will take you to a peaceful sanctuary in Northern California where one man traded a high-powered job for those guys, donkeys. Plus, an inspiring story about two boys who fled Ukraine without their parents, then met a stranger who helped them send messages to mom and dad overseas. And the iconic New York City restaurant serving up food and a side of hope. And a birthday surprise from Post Malone. All that plus our most heartwarming videos of the week. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. Welcome to The Uplift. It is the show that lifts you up, guaranteed for at least the next 30 minutes. We're going to begin with this. It's Women's History Month, and we've spotlighted women who made a difference in their communities. Among them, Angie Carroll. She's doing exactly that. In fact, her impact has spread much further than her own community, that community of Roanoke, Indiana. Caitlin O'Kane spoke to her about how she's spreading joy through art and social media.
When the pandemic hit, Angie Carroll was tasked with not only dealing with her own emotions, but her family's.
Everyone was just a mess. Everyone was just sad and a mess. And so I had this idea one morning, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make them draw because that's our happy place. But I sent them a text message that just said, draw a smiling turtle and show me your artwork this evening at 7 p.m. And they did, and they were laughing. We were laughing so hard at everyone's drawing.
Drawing worked. It boosted their mental health and also brought joy to others because they started sharing their silly drawings on Facebook. Angie's friends wanted to join in, and soon she had a whole community online following her drawing prompts.
So I kept it going. I just kept posting then online. Here's what you draw today. And then we revealed our drawings at 7 p.m. and that sort of evolved into what is now the Simple Daily Drawing group.
It started out as Angie's close friends and family, but soon the Simple Daily Drawing group grew to more than 8,000 members following her daily drawing prompts. She started asking members why they were joining, assuming they just liked art, but the answers surprised her.
The micro communities that emerged were for sure mental health. And this is what surprised me. I knew when I started the group that we were using it for mental health, just to disconnect from what was going on in the world. But I didn't realize, I don't know the exact number, but I would say 80% of the people that join our group are using art for mental health.
She said the group is diverse, from homeschooling moms to people with arthritis in their hands who say drawing helps them.
Every day there is somebody that says something about how this is helping them. And because of that, I just got to keep going. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep until my brain runs out of ideas, I guess.
Angie is so passionate about the Simple Daily Drawing group, she's turned it into her own small business, selling sketch pads with the drawing prompts inside them to encourage others to keep making art for their own joy.
I don't feel that people understand how important it is to take care of their mental health until they start making small strides to take care of their mental health. And I feel like we as a society are reverting to social media to get a lot of our interactions and our joy and our happiness. And we forget about these very, very basic things and actions we can take to support our own mental health.
Pretty good looking turtle there. Nothing's better than a good coloring session. We're going to move on, though, today to Mary Mcnany, a 20-year-old woman with Down syndrome who was out to dinner with her family when she checked her phone and saw a very welcome surprise. Take a look.
I got it! What does it say? What does it say? No way! What are you supposed to say? Aren't you supposed to say this wouldn't have been possible without you, Jack? Thank you so much, Jack.
accepted to the CBS program.
What? Could you have done it without your brothers?
Yes.
No!
Mary was accepted into the Career and Community Studies program at the College of New Jersey. It's a 4-year program for young adults with disabilities. Her brother Jack can relate to the elation because he is also off to college. But as she joked there, she could have done it without him. I think it's true. All right, moving on. A group of seniors in Pleasanton, California are working together to help send support to Ukrainians. Some say they were compelled to help because they've gone through something similar. CBS San Francisco's Max Darrow has their story.
At the Creekview Health Center in Pleasanton, a little contribution to Ukraine from a group of seniors with big hearts.
You know, I feel a sense of participation and not totally hopeless.
They spent their morning putting together first aid kits that'll go to Ukrainian refugees.
A lot of our residents who have experienced many similar things in their lifetime, they really wanted to make this a big effort and show that they really care.
Like Juliana Sungor, who we met along the assembly line.
It's very close to my heart.
She's of Hungarian origin and tells us she escaped in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution.
I can really identify with the people that have to run away from the Russians.
I know what they are going through because I did the same thing under Hitler.
Charmaine Paul says the support from the seniors at Creekview won't stop the suffering in Ukraine, but hopefully it'll help those who need all they can get.
Whatever else we can do here, you know, we would do it, right?
So the group of seniors packaged up more than 100 of these first aid supply kits inside medical supplies like Band-Aids, tape, gauze pads, antibiotic cream, Tylenol. The goal is to get them all shipped out by next week.
And we hope it gets to Ukraine soon and is helpful.
During a visit to Sonoma this week, Ukraine Consul General Dmytro Kushniruk said it's one thing for Ukrainian people to know they have the support of the United States government. It's another to know they have support from the people.
People have compassion. They think that they should do something, not just, express the words, but they want to donate money. They want to donate something else. This is something very, very special.
I think that it's very important for them to know how much we care.
Ruth Ann Edwards has family members who live in rural Ukraine.
They do hear the bombs and the sirens, and it's just, we're afraid it's a matter of time that it gets to them.
She was honored to help these seniors show their support on Friday and touched by their compassion.
Because it just shows how even us small groups care so much.
This seems like a very small contribution, but it's very important that we're making this connection.
Yeah, it sure is. Well done and nice piece there, Max. Millions of people have fled Ukraine, have fled the war, and this next story is about 2 of them. 2 young brothers from California who had to leave their parents behind in Ukraine. But when they were holding a lemonade stand, an incredible coincidence helped connect them back to their mom and dad still overseas. Christina Ruffini has that story.
When brothers Axel and Oliver Langenkamp evacuated Ukraine, they couldn't take everything.
Just running around trying to find stuff, packing your bag.
They also couldn't bring their parents, diplomats at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv. After getting the boys safely to their grandparents in California, they relocated to Poland to continue their work.
I really miss them.
So the 8 and 9-year-old decided to put up a lemonade stand, raising money for World Central Kitchen, an organization that feeds Ukraine refugees. The response was overwhelming.
And we got over $2,000.
Was that a surprise?
Yeah. Yes.
Miguel Abed is now serving those meals in Poland. He stumbled across the boys' fundraiser in Coronado just hours before flying here to volunteer.
It's an incredible coincidence.
They sent Miguel off with cards for their parents, which he hand-delivered to their dad, Dan.
A special message from your kids.
This is amazing.
It's the first mail they've gotten from their boys.
They really miss you.
All of us have split up from our families, and we're all really invested in trying to, help Ukraine.
A mission shared by Miguel, the Langenkamps, and all the volunteers.
I hope it will help just stabilize them and just help them feel better.
It's a great example to replicate this good deed that is coming together by literally people from everywhere in the world.
Oh, that's a great story. And World Central Kitchen is doing great work. Also, while I was there in Poland, the food looked very good, and reports from the refugees coming over the border was, it is good. Wish I could try some. All right, coming up, the iconic restaurant that has a line all the way down the block, not just for their good food, but because of their good cause. Plus, from a high-powered job and celebrity friends to donkeys. One man's story of finding a sanctuary. Many people have rethought their careers during the pandemic, but a man named Ron King rethought his entire life, making it more peaceful. We showed David Begnaud how he made the switch from Los Angeles up to Northern California, switching from a high-powered job to donkeys.
Among the coastal hills of Northern California, right in the middle of wine country.
My favorite part of my day is my donkey hunt.
Ron King has created a donkey sanctuary.
It's the weight of the head that lets you know he is like happy. This is so sweet.
This 75-acre ranch is a nonprofit dedicated to their rescue and rehabilitation.
They're intelligent and they have very high emotional intelligence. I give them love and they give me love back. I'm a donkey guy now.
It's a far cry from his pre-pandemic life, attired in Gucci, shuttling between New York and Los Angeles as a senior VP for Time Inc. He managed sales and marketing for some well-known brands. Was there a moment in your life where you thought, damn, I've made it?
Yeah, I think it was when, I was flying first class to Milan to sit front row at Versace. That was a big deal.
But in 2018, the sale of Time led to the elimination of King's position. So he freelanced. But then COVID hit, the work dried up, and the despair set in. Then came a call from an old friend, Phil Selway, a prominent pop art dealer. He hired Ron to move to his ranch and sell it because it wasn't being used.
I thought it would be a win-win. He could help me tremendously, and it would help him, give him another project.
King took the job, and while hiking around the property, he felt something new, this sense of calm.
My head is always like a snow globe that's being shook. It never stops. That sense of sort of chaos in my head was just normal for me. When the snow globe stops after 20 years, you feel that.
But you were still enough to recognize it.
I was still enough to recognize it.
And respectful enough to act on it.
I had no thoughts in my head except this beautiful surrounding. And I realized it's the first time I'd felt serenity in 20 years.
Well, serenity met serendipity. King discovered a story about the plight of donkeys, known historically as strong pack animals capable of hauling goods. But they've outlived their usefulness. So donkeys, which can live around 30 years, are sold at auction, slaughtered, and then skinned for their hides to be used for traditional Chinese medicine.
They don't have any advocates. They don't win races. They don't feed a food chain. And I thought, I need to help donkeys. So I said, Bill, I have an idea that I want to run by you. I want you to take it off the market, not sell it, and let me turn this into a donkey sanctuary.
That sounds bananas.
And he will tell you, he also said it sounded bananas.
The first thing I thought when Ron was giving this presentation was that he was crazy and I would be crazy to go along with this. It's absolutely blown me away, and I could not be happier.
Donations support their cause. Every donkey here, 97 of them while we were there, would have been killed.
Patches was dying of starvation, so nobody had fed him for who knows how long. The only way to help a donkey that's been abused emotionally recover is to love it back to health. And I had this moment where I realized that there's a difference between things that I enjoy and things that bring me joy. And I was 52 years old when I realized those were two different things. It's a whole different way of living. You will never be this sick again.
And in helping donkeys to heal, he may be healing his own invisible scars. King's struggles began at an early age, when this son of a Southern Baptist preacher first realized he was gay.
They were young and they were religious and they had a little sissy boy. So that didn't go well. All I really wanted all along was to matter. Come on.
By his 20s, he was homeless, addicted to drugs and alcohol. He got sober only after surviving an overdose. Understanding the power of resilience.
You wanted to take the donkeys hiking?
Yes, sir. Keep these guys fit.
King rebuilds the donkey's strength and trust so that they're ready for adoption. So far, he's found forever homes for 30 of them.
For a long time, proving that I could be someone or be something motivated me. That part has gone. But I want to matter to the world, to the donkeys, to people.
We have so many snuggle sessions.
Amber Paz made 2 of his donkeys part of her family.
This is my dream come true.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who dreamed of a donkey.
They're just absolutely precious.
For Paz, it was love at first sight.
She laid down right next to us. I went, "You're mine." I went into this not knowing how to do all this, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. Run, run!
There is no denying the connection that donkeys form with people. You know, changing lives may be a heavy burden for a lot of people, but it is a load that these animals seem to haul with grace.
I was pretty accomplished by all those standards, and I found myself with the rug pulled out from under me. And for that level of despair to be so close, so recent, is really an important lesson in resilience and turnaround. Good morning. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not always a freight train. Sometimes it's donkeys.
Oh, just a wild and very sweet story from our David Begnaud. Coming up, the restaurant New Yorkers are flocking to, waiting in long lines to show support for Ukraine. Plus, our most heartwarming videos of the week. Stick around. Welcome back to The Uplift, where it is time for our most heartwarming videos of the week. We start with a law student named Omar, who was on the cusp of becoming a lawyer. And he said his hands were shaking when he checked his bar exam results, and it was his mom's reaction, really, that took the cake.
My hands are shaking.
Always helps to have a lawyer in the family. Congratulations. Our next story, a couple from Wisconsin has a very interesting story to tell their new baby girl when she grows up. Here's the kicker. She was born on the highway. Parents Bailey and Tim said their other 4 children had arrived very quickly, so they knew they had to rush to the hospital. But baby Ariel could not wait. They pulled over on an exit, and a 911 dispatcher coached them through the birth.
Kind of chalk it up to, superhuman strength that mothers have with their babies.
You just never know the strength of yourself, your significant other, or you as a couple until you're in that moment. You definitely come out shining.
They said Ariel came into their family with a boom, and she probably will not believe what happened the night she was born. You can tell the story well, Mom and Dad. Congrats. Andrew was out celebrating his 21st birthday with his family in Los Angeles and having his very first legal beer, which is already an exciting thing. But then this happened. Post Malone just happened to be at the same spot.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm always good. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are. You don't have to get stuff like that. It's his 21st birthday, and he's drank his first beer. Yeah, what kind of beer you get? That's a tough choice. Not for me, but there's somebody out there. He has autism. He knows all your stuff. Good. Thank you for listening. That's so sweet.
I might cry.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Have fun, but not too much.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a little more to this story. Andrew's mom says he has autism and that concerts are just too overwhelming for him, but he still got to meet Post Malone, which is very cool. He loves listening to him. And the singer had some good advice for a 21st birthday. Have fun, not too much fun. As to what kind of beer it was an alcoholic beer. Coming up, inside New York City's restaurant where Vlad Duce talked to owners who are second and third generation Ukrainians, now Americans, and they're now giving back to their country. Many businesses in the U.S. are showing their support for Ukraine, of course, but here's a different kind of story. One iconic restaurant in New York City, many staff members are Ukrainian, and customers are lining up for their authentic Eastern European food and to show support for Ukraine. Vlad Duce takes us inside Foselka.
I've been coming to this place since it was a hole in the wall many years ago.
In Manhattan's East Village, Foselka is serving up traditional Ukrainian food.
I love the pierogies.
With a side of hope.
I came to support Ukraine and great food.
I've lived here for 50 years, and it's always been a significantly Ukrainian neighborhood. So, of course, we're all in support.
It's been kind of extraordinary to see every day, all throughout the day, lines of New Yorkers waiting to show that solidarity.
It's just been amazing, and I'm very thankful for that.
Jason Burchard is the third-generation owner of Foselka, and about 40% of the staff here is from Ukraine.
They're in a state of shock. It's a miracle that they come to work, but they do so out of loyalty to the business, out of loyalty to their co-workers.
There must be some harrowing stories of family members back home.
I have one of my line cooks who grew up with 4 of his best buddies. They've all passed in the first 4 days. I have others that have parents that are still in Kiev and sleeping in the basements, or they've now moved into subway tunnels. The grandmas are making Molotov cocktails. I mean, it's a different time.
But what really hasn't changed is Foselka and the food that you provide and the comfort that that brings.
Foselka opened as a small storefront in 1954, when the area was known as Little Ukraine.
Your father's father-in-law, who opened this restaurant 68 years ago, you still have his photo there.
My grandfather was a Ukrainian immigrant. He moved here in the late 1940s, escaping Russian oppression. He always believed in a free and independent Ukraine. Unfortunately, never survived to see a free Ukraine. I hope he would be proud to know that we're still carrying on the tradition.
Part of that tradition is the Ukrainian fare you can find on the menu.
The pierogi are wonderful.
Lots of different pierogi are wonderful.
Yeah.
5,000 pierogies are made from scratch daily by Ukrainian cooks in the restaurant's basement. Many of them with family back home watching the news while they work.
5,000 pierogies a day? How many gallons of borscht do you think you go through?
Since the start of the war until yesterday, we've sold 1,000 gallons of borscht. That's 8,000 bowls. Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow.
Burchard's dad, Tom, joined us for a bowl of borscht, a dish many Ukrainians consider a symbol of unity.
Definitely better to eat that with a black shirt than a white shirt. Because once you get it on your shirt, it doesn't come out. This is love in a bowl.
It's been an overwhelming outpouring of love, literally, and I think people really relate to borscht and what's happening abroad.
There's a saying, I guess, in Ukrainian.
Smacznoho.
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 Smacznoho. Bon appetit.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
You know what's interesting? I don't like beets. This is the only thing that I will consume that has beets in it.
And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
100% of the restaurant's borscht sales are going to humanitarian aid in Ukraine.
What you'd want people to know about what this place means, not just to you, to your family, but to New Yorkers, to the community, and now to your staff that has family members who are suffering.
Feel free to consider this your second dining room. We'd be glad to cook for you, welcome you. And if you're hurting and you need companionship or company, please come.
A customer of 50 years been coming here.
A customer of 50 years?
And he often witnesses people greeting each other who haven't seen each other here, that they meet here for a meal, and other places might be a handshake or, but constantly sees love, hugs, and just emotions that you wouldn't normally see. And he really said, you know what, you really should pride yourself of not only serving good food, but you're a place of connection and of love. Some days get hard and long, and you're wondering if you're doing this for the right reason. But when you hear stories like that, it just pulls at your heartstrings. And we're happy to carry the tradition on.
Great food, good cause, and that is our show. I hope it brightened your day, lifted you up. If it didn't, re-rack the tape, watch it again. No extra cost, I promise. See you next time.